Happy New Year and welcome to another divination with Magic and Mimosas featuring Lunella Bean. Say hi since you want to be in my video so bad. Yeah, hi. Today I have done a spread for the new year ahead. Happy 2024. I pulled some cards around the themes of the year, and then I actually pulled a card for each individual month as well. And I have to say, this is definitely a year of some ups and downs. But they also inspire a tremendous amount of spiritual and personal growth. So yeah, let's get into it. My first spread was a clarity spread done with the Realest Oracle Deck. Love these cards. And then I pulled for each individual month from the Melanated Classic Tarot deck. Just love that my cards have color, melanin. It feels nice. So let's jump right in. The first card that came out in the clarity spread, symbolizing what we need to know, is solitude. And the messages correlating with this card that were very, very loud for me was that Spirit wants you to know who you are. And you don't know who you are because you spend so much time indoctrinated and engulfed in other people's energy. Embrace solitude. Know that being alone does not inherently mean you have to feel lonely. And we can get into the whole why is loneliness even stigmatized in our culture in the first place. But the truth of this card is like Spirit wants you to spend some time with yourself because Spirit has messages for you that you're not able to receive until you know yourself better, until you're like ready to come face to face with you to like do that mirror work, do that journaling time, do that time at the altar where you're like authentic about who you really are. And you don't even know what you really want because you don't know who you really are because you're not spending that time with you. So an overall theme of this year, or what you should know about this year, is being alone doesn't mean you have to be lonely, and Spirit wants you to spend time with yourself. What we need to release is in your bag. The controversy. And so when I'm hearing in regards to this, is not necessarily like, I feel like there's different ways to look at being in your bag, right? It's like that I'm in the energies of me and I'm well aligned with my purpose and I'm moving in my destiny and I feel in my bag. I think those things hold near and dear. What I'm hearing about this in your bag is like the social media capitalistic view of in your bag. The booked and busy, the I don't have any time to sleep because I have 2 jobs and a side hustle. I just bought this new expensive thing that is wasteful and I don't really need it, and I only really bought it because I thought it was some type of status symbol, and now it's costing me way too much to even uphold it. Like, we need to release those things, the capitalistic notions of being in your bag, and really rethink what success means to us. Again, spending that time in solitude to get real about what it is that you actually want. What a good year. What we need to embrace. Awakened. There are lots of spiritual messages that are going to be coming down for you this year, especially in the beginning portion of this year. You need to be in a space where you can take that in. So again, that solitude is going to definitely help, but also understanding and being open to the types of insights that are going to come down to you, and like taking the time to document those, but also taking the time to be like present in those experiences. So rituals around altar work. How often are you going to sit at your altar? Is that going to be once a week, once a month? Like, what are you actually going to do to be able to receive these messages? This could be spiritual, which is what I'm truly hearing. It could also be religious. It could also be sexual. So just thinking about being able to receive those messages and awaken yourself, feel aligned to your purpose. Again, getting real about what that purpose even is, because you're being honest about you and with you. And then lastly, the result is inner strength, which I think is beautiful. It's developing the skill of willpower and perseverance and grit and determination. it's being able to be in the storm and still feel calmness and peace and tranquility within your individual spirit, your individual body. Being like, there's fires everywhere, and I was forged in fire. This is not an issue. I'll be fine. Developing that level of peace and calm in the face of conflict. This also is thinking about the ability to take things day by day. Again, there's a lot of ups and downs in this year. And so it's being able to be like, yesterday was a bad day, but that don't mean today gotta be a bad day. We get to start over every day. That's the end result, is like having that skill really fine-tuned. And again, I just think that's so dope. All right, so that's the overall clarity spread for 2024. And now let's get into the month-to-month energy. All right, so the first card that came out, Hierophant. And so this is about like traditional, very like institutionalized type of knowledge and apprenticeship or mentorship. This definitely can be of a spiritual lens. A lot of people might be feeling called back to their traditional spiritual practices or even indigenous spiritual practices, or even your familial practices. You might be feeling called back to the church. You might have family that's literally like, come to church with me. I would say that could be a good idea in this regard. Not necessarily that you have to, get rebaptized or whatever, but that there might be something there that sparks something for you, and you can follow that in your journey. Again, this year we're really thinking about this awakening card and being receptive to messages that might not be in places that you think they would come from. So really listening to our dreams, listening to our intuitive voice, but also knowing that a lot of the initial part of this journey, this January month, is going to be in a more traditional mentor, mentee, apprenticeship, passed down from elder to student type of regard. February, 3 of Cups. We're up, baby. We're celebrating. We're checking in about being present in our life and enjoying laughter and enjoying sisterhood, brotherhood, socializing, really being in community. It feels so good. We're checking in with ourselves about where that exists and thinking about how we can cultivate more of that. How do I get more of these good vibes, celebratory energy? That doesn't have to just come from you feeling like you have to accomplish everything. Celebrate your friend who just got that promotion or wrote that book or got through a really hard breakup or whatever it is. Like finding the times to celebrate and laugh and just have a good freaking time. February. And then in March, a little bit we're kind of down. So we got the 4 of Cups and it came out in the reverse position. This is typically about refusing to even play the game. It's like, I'm so tired of this. I'm retreating. I don't want to deal with it. And in some regard, again, if we're thinking about centering this solitude and how it can be a good thing, it could be a good thing that you're feeling called back into yourself. I would just say to make sure you're checking in that you're not like isolating in a pulling away, disconnecting from folks type of way, and doing it from a space of like, I love myself and thus I want to spend this time with myself and I want to spend this time with spirit. And also making sure that you are centering gratitude in your life. Again, this is a card where we're looking like, I don't even want to play the game. You are ignoring what you already have, what's being presented to you, because you're obsessed with what you feel like you lack. And so centering gratitude is going to be really helpful in continuing to receive like abundance in all of the ways that you need to feel it. An abundance of love, an abundance of energy, an abundance of time. Okay. April. We're kind of up again. So we have the 6 of Staffs in April. This is praise. This is public recognition. This is you did the damn thing. This is you got the promotion at work and everybody can see now that your hard work paid off, or you finally got over that ex that people kept thinking you was going to get back with. Proved you wrong. Like, this is that public recognition of, yes, I did the thing. I've earned the accolades and I'm going to take it in because it's my time. And you should take it in. And you should enjoy that moment in the spotlight. Because again, this is a year of ups and downs. So enjoy this while it lasts. Okay. The next month, again, continuing with these kind of ups and downs. We have the Seven of Pentacles, which came out in the reverse position. Okay. So this is May. So this is thinking about the hard, steady, consistent work that it takes to maintain. So perhaps this month before, you're like, yay, I accomplished this new thing. I got the promotion. And now you're like, and now I have to do the day-to-day to maintaining this new blessing I called in my life. Fun, right? And really framing it as, this is something I get to do. This is something that I enjoy. This is something that I prayed really hard for. This is something I worked really hard for. Even in those days where it feels kind of tedious. This card also asks us to think of our long-term vision. So again, being real with ourselves about what it is that we really want. It could be that you got public recognition for something that you worked really hard for that you now realize, I don't want this. Like, I genuinely can see now that long term, this is not aligned with who I feel like I am or what I feel like is in my destiny. And like having that conversation with yourself and maybe feeling a little like, dang, like, did I waste this time? Or, don't get stuck in that. Time is never truly wasted. There's always something you can learn from any experience, but that might be something that comes up for you. June, Ace of Cups in reverse. So maybe that is something that you let fester and mess with you, because in this next month in June, we're seeing blockages in the flow of spiritual and emotional energy. This could be, again, because you let some emotions fester that shouldn't have, and now you're experiencing blockages in like messages that you're receiving, like psychic blockages. Again, as this is a year that we're thinking about this spiritual awakening and being open and receptive to all of this good energy, good messages that are going to flow through you. If you hear a message like, hey, you worked really hard for this thing, guess what, it isn't aligned, that doesn't mean to shut it off and like, I don't want to hear that, like I can't be bothered, because then you're closing that channel. It doesn't mean to be so hard on yourself that you feel like you can't get out of that hole, or you just have to wallow in the self-pity that, again, you're closing that channel. So in this month, I would definitely think about ways that you can stay connected spiritually. So again, leaning into those rituals, making sure you spend intentional time, I would say, with the element of water. This is the Ace of Cups. And then also making sure that you are allowing that emotional energy to flow, that you're being present with your emotions, that if for whatever reason, because I know sometimes we have to do the survival mode thing, I'll deal with this later, that you genuinely do come back to it later. That you're not just like, yeah, I'll deal with it later, and then the weekend comes up and you're like, I just don't even want to feel that right now. Like, I just want to feel something good, so I'm just going to eat the food and smoke the weed and watch the TV. And then the opportunity is come and gone, right? Make sure that you genuinely do come back to that practice with yourself. I also would recommend like gentle movements and flow, like some yoga, some stretching, some like light dancing or sensual type movements. I would recommend that as well in June. In July, we have the Eight of Cups. So we're done wallowing in the self-pity and being hard on ourselves, and we're ready to take action. In the middle of the night, under the moon, realizing it's time to go. Like, I just have to cut my losses. I am leaving a situation of lack. Again, that could be a variety of things. That could be a job, a relationship, a friendship, whatever that may be existing in your life. But for a lot of people, like, the messaging is a through line. Like, if it's relationships that that you've been experiencing the resignation with these cards with, that's like your through line. If it's your job that you've been having this back and forth with in 2024, like that's your through line through these cards. But it could be a variety of things. So July is, I finally found the strength to leave it alone. I have to let it go. I have to want better for me. I have to choose me in this instance. And so July is, I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to leave these things behind. You also could be leaving behind bad habits. I'm hearing that one really loud. You also could be like, you know what? I'm done vaping. It's not working for me. It's not giving me any release. I'm ready to stop vaping. I'm ready to stop eating the midnight snacks right before bed because I'm really just emotional eating and I'm genuinely not even hungry. It's not healthy for me anymore. It could be like a bad habit. I'm ready to stop the negative self-talk. I'm ready to walk away from it. Whatever that bad habit is, that could be something you're willing to walk away from in July too. The cat is in my plant. Get out the plant. She finna come over here. All right, in August, we have the Six of Swords in the reverse position. So again, this card is about like leaving something behind, but this card also has an energy of like deceit or dishonesty beneath it. And as it's in the reverse position, what I'm really hearing is that thing that you were like so ready to walk away from and did your part and said goodbye is trying to call you back. Whether that's a man who has now made another Instagram page to try to follow you on, or a job that's like, hey, but look, we'll give you another $1,000 a year if you stay, when you know it's really time to go. Or a bad habit that's finding its way, like creeping back up on you because it's hard. Like life is hard. And sometimes you do just want to hit the vape, you know, or whatever the situation may be for you. That is what's really peaking in August. You have to keep your resolve. You have to decide, again, that alignment that you're having for the year, that longer term vision. What is it that you want? And stay aligned to those goals. Prove it to yourself that it's worth it to you. Okay? And if you do go backsliding, show yourself the grace and forgive yourself. You don't have to lean back into negative self-talk, or you don't have to be like, dang, I messed up. So now what I'm going to do? I'm going to go back to the emotional eating. Like, don't be so hard on yourself that you just go deeper into the hole, right? Just be real with you and do what you got to do to get yourself back on the horse. September. The Eight of Pentacles in reverse. So this card is thinking about the day-to-day, like, work that you have to do to get better at your craft. And in this instance, really thinking about personal and perhaps even spiritual development. In the reverse position, it's given, I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Again, this year is, you know, it's full of ups and downs. And so you might get to the point where you're like, is this even worth it? Especially when you're in the downs, I think it's hard to remember how it felt in the ups. You're just like, everything just sucks. It feels almost eternal. Like, you can't let yourself get so swallowed up in the misery, right? Remember that these are skills. I strongly believe that willpower is a skill. It's not something you have or you don't. Perseverance is a skill. Determination is a skill. Like, you have to continuously do the development that it takes to get there. And you have to be intentional about any type of craft that you're working on. If that's your spiritual craft, like making sure that you're dedicating the time to sit at the altar, making sure that you're leaving the offerings, making sure that you're doing these things consistently. If this is a new job or a new relationship, you're trying love out again, right? This is something that's going to take consistent work. And you're not always going to want to feel like it. And particularly in September, you're probably not going to want to feel like it. But again, keeping that, like, you know, this is something I really wanted. I'm going to stay in tune with me. If I need to take a little time in solitude to remind myself of why I started this, and be open to receiving the messages of, you got this, just keep going. You know, I think you'll get through just fine. But perhaps some of us don't, because in October we have the Eight of Swords in reverse. And so this is thinking about typically some type of self-imposed bondage. You're not actually being held hostage. You could wiggle your way free. In truth, you could. But you believe that you are a victim of your circumstances, and thus you stay in this bondage. As this card is in reverse, it could be indicating that you are making your way free from it, right? So perhaps you did do a little backsliding the month before in September, but now in October you're remembering, like, I got this. We got this. It's okay. Like, I can shake through from this negative self-talk. And negative self-talk is like the most prominent message that I'm hearing here. You don't ever have to start talking to yourself negatively. You don't ever have to start talking to yourself in a way that you would never talk to your mom or your best friend or, you know, your favorite colleague. Like, if you wouldn't call them stupid or dumb, don't call yourself those things. Really getting clear on what type of affirmation rituals that you can do to empower yourself, and like think real affirmations, not I am love, I am light. Those are good, sure, but think deeper level. Like, what is it that's really pestering you about yourself? What is it that at the core you do kind of believe a little bit in that negative self-talk that you can rewrite, rephrase in a way that is now empowering to you? And I'm going to do a lot of affirmation videos this year, so check them out. Whether they're directly applicable to the situation at hand or not, sometimes the wording and like just the power and how you can phrase it can help spark new affirmations for yourself. In November, we have the mental health card. So again, we were talking about these ups and downs, and these last few months have kind of felt like downs. Like the second half of 2024 is kind of like damn. And I'm trying to have the perseverance, and I'm really doing everything I can, and it's just still whooping my ass. I'm not a fan of this. This card says, if that's where you are, get help. Don't suffer alone. That does not mean emotionally dump and trauma share with any person, a stranger off the street, or even your best friend. That means get professional help from someone whose job it is to do that. Talk to a therapist. That means seek the aid of your ancestors. Seek the aid of your spiritual guides. But do what you need to do to get to a better place. Okay? Revisit those self-care techniques that you know genuinely make you feel better, that, you know, require that activation energy that's like, I don't want to do that, but you genuinely do feel a lot better when you do, whether that's like weekly spiritual baths or going to the park once a week to journal under a tree, whatever that may be for you, right? But get real about your need to prioritize your mental health. It might also look like spending more time with yourself. When you're in a bad mental health place, it's kind of twofold. So either it's like you don't want to spend that time alone with your thoughts, but at the same time you may find yourself isolating from folks, and so then you go to like numbing measures, like, all right, I'm gonna be by myself, but I'm finna drink, or I'm gonna be by myself, but I'm gonna turn this music up so loud I can't hear my own thoughts, or whatever it is that you're doing to like numb or escape. Try to spend the time you do alone in a healthier way, like with a journal or something that's gonna bring you more present. And yes, those more negative emotions may come up, but that's the best way to feel through and release them. And get real about that release work. And ask your spirits to help you to take away that burden. And they'll listen. Because in December, we end with the Star. A renewed sense of hope. And hallelujah, because it was getting bleak even for me reading the cards. Okay, so we have the stars shining above us. We are feeling like, you know, this was a year. 2024 was a year. But I did that. And I've accomplished the things. And I feel so much stronger as a result. And I can look back and reflect and say, genuinely, I am proud of myself and I am ready to gear up. Like this, the star also represents a level of transformation. Like you are anew. You have been reborn. You have emerged from the chrysalis. You have shedded the skins. Like you are a better version of yourself because of the ups and downs, because of all the difficulties that you had to face every single day and still say, and I'm here and I'm going to do my darndest and I'm going to be the best that I can be. And truly, you have developed that new level of like, I am the best that I can possibly be, plus a year of wisdom, you know? That is your year ahead reading. I hope you enjoyed it. It's super long. I will definitely be posting clips of it throughout the year. And if you want a 2024 year ahead reading, they will be available until March on my website, magicmimosas.com. I hope you have a great rest of your day /year and that we chat soon. Bye.